Welcome you to the Business Live event every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to continue along our path tonight for following along our path on the Entrepreneur Cash Map. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Small Business Startup Package. So thank you all for joining. Just a little bit of the room overview. It's kind of a heads up. I'm going to try to pull this chat up a little bit. Actually, it's not going to. So we're going to keep the same format right now. But if at the top of your screen, you'll see a little guy with a hand raise like that. If there's something that you'd like to communicate to me, you can raise your hand there. Agree, disagree, step away, speak louder, speak softer, speed up. You probably won't use the speed up at all with me, but you may use the slow down just because I tend to speak rather quickly. So if I get on a roll and I'm speaking too fast, definitely tell me to slow down. And from there, that's what you need in the room. So who knows with technology? You know, this technology has been pretty good. We've had some issues where I've bonked off, or some of you folks have bonked off in the past. And if that's the case, I certainly apologize. But tonight, we're going to, as I mentioned, jump into the small business startup package for about 25 minutes or so, and then after that, open the floor for Q&A, questions and answers. And so at that point, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and open up the floor. I'll open up a questions window where you can submit your questions to me, but I don't want that to hold you back at all. If you have something along the way as I'm talking through, raise your hand or go ahead and type it into chat there. And if I don't see it, Dave or Ron or somebody will ping me and make sure that I catch it. So that's what we're gonna hop into now. And yeah, Dave, thanks for dropping that link in there for the small business the strategy cash map. So you can download that there, the small business strategy cash map. If you do not have it, go ahead and download it there, so you have it in PDF format. And just a reminder that if you haven't already, definitely create an account, a free account over at cashmap.com, because over there, when you create that free account, you're going to get access to the strategy cash map for small business startup that we're going to cover tonight, and you're also going to receive 58 other strategy cash maps in addition to that one. So lots of content there, just for creating your free account. And then beyond that, you also get two full cash map packages. And just as a reminder, our cash map packages are built where there's a very high level map that we're going to talk about tonight called the strategy cash map. And then each one of the steps on that strategy cash map break down into a more detailed how-to. A cash map that shows you exact steps to follow to implement. Those we sell, and they normally sell for $77, anywhere from $77 to $197 for the package of action cash maps. All of our strategy cash maps, the high-level ones, are free. So just a reminder, there's always some confusion on that of what's free, what's not, and that sort of thing. So I think that should get us rolling. I'm going to open up now. If you invest in any one of our full cash map packages, or when you create your free cash map account and get the one or the two free packages, in addition to the strategy cash map and all the action cash maps, there's also a overview. There's an overview document, and so I want to take just a minute. I'm going to pull up this overview document and for the strategy cash map package, just so you can see what's how to read a cash map and what it's all about. And Ron, thank you there. If you don't have an account, go ahead and create your free account at cashmap.com/member-registration. So the first thing I'm going to pull up here is the overview document. Now here's the overview document. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this for you. Hopefully you can see that there, and I'll kind of move around a little bit. This is the overview document for the small business startup cash map. Now I zoomed in, so hopefully your screen may take a few seconds to catch up here. But as you can see, as what I was just describing in this area right here, the strategy cash map, this is what we're going to cover tonight, the small business startup strategy. Every step that's on there breaks down into an action cash map. So you're going to see my arrow down here where I've placed it. And I'm going to move this up a little bit so that you can see every one of the action cash maps that comes in this particular package. So define your business is action cash map 1.1. Define your target market, create a business plan, finance your business, market your business, network and build relationships, and then do that online, provide a product or service, maintain a client base. These are the full action cash maps that are for sale. All right, and we're going to talk through these, but at a higher level. We're going to look at kind of the overall strategy tonight here, and it's these action cash maps down here that you may decide to be a worthwhile investment to show you exactly how to implement what we talk about this evening. All right. Now, with that, I wanted to just say a few words about how to read a cash map, and we're gonna look right here. This little green arrow here, or the green, this is actually a start node or an end node. You'll see, begin defining your business. That is where we start or end a particular cash map. And so you'll see when you look at a cash map exactly how that works. It's easy to follow or read a cash map and follow it. You just follow the flow arrows. And here's an example of a flow arrow that will take you from one step to the next. Anytime you see this little folder icon here that I'm pointing at, or you can look up here at the top where we have this little graphic, define your business. If you see that little folder icon right here, that indicates that there is a lower level action cash map to support that step. So in this case, this would mean that step 1.1 is define your business, and that there's a lower level action cash map that shows you exactly how to define your business. I'm going to keep going down here. The text annotations, this is what we call a text annotation here. You'll see a little line with some text. That is where we provide additional information about a particular step on the cash map and how to perform it. If you see one of these decision diamonds here, this decision diamond right here means that there's a decision that you need to make as part of the process, and there will be two or more outputs that you have to decide between. This little squirrely circle item here represents a set of resources. So you may not see this you don't see this on every map, but the time that you do see it, it's saying, hey, here's some resources that you can use to complete a particular cash step. And that's really the ones I want to talk about right now. That gives you the basics of how to follow and to read a cash map. And so again, this entire overview sheet comes with every one of our cash map packages. I'm going to zoom back out here. And now I'm going to go ahead and open up the strategy cash map. So while I'm opening this up, if you have any questions, go ahead and just type it into the box there, or raise your hand either way. But I'm going to go ahead now and pull up our strategy cash map here. So bear with me for just 1 second as I pull this up. Okay, and here we go. This should be opening up now. All right, good. Okay, so now I just showed you the overview. Now I'm going to zoom in here, and again, I can't remember with this latest software, Dave and I don't think you guys as participants, I'll get this down. I promise I will. I can't remember if you guys have any control over the Zoom. I don't think you do. So I'm going to assume that you don't, and I'll zoom in on my side to make sure that I'm covering things in an adequate way that you can see it. But again, if there's any issues, let me know, and we will. I'll stop and resume or whatever needs to happen here. So, okay, yeah, Ron and Dave, they're saying no. So, all right. So hopefully you can see this right now. Here's the start node that I talked about. Begin small business startup. I'm going to zoom back out so you can see the whole thing for a minute. You'll see here on this one that it starts here in this upper left-hand corner. Right here, I'll put the arrow in here. And begin small business startup. And we're going to follow the flow arrows through this path. Through step 1.1, which is define your business. Step 1.2, define your target market, and so forth. All the way through, following through 1.9 down here, and to where at the end, the small business is created. A couple other things about this, about our cash maps. You can always find what cash map you're on, especially if you have a whole package of them. Now, I have our whole package here for our small business startup. The ones I actually had for this package on my hands tonight are not color, but you can see there's a whole, all of the 9 action cash maps here, one that coincide with each of the blue steps you're looking at that show you exactly how to implement this, okay? But you can look over here. What I was starting to say, sorry, is if you look over here in the edge, right here where I put that green arrow, it says Small Business Startup Strategy 1. On the next cash map, that's 1.1. If you can see this turkey here, probably not. But it does say right there, define your business 1.1 on the side. So you can always look on the side of the cash map and know, where you're at in the hierarchy of the cash maps. All right. So small business startup. We're going to talk about some things tonight, and your first reaction may be, "Hey, I already have a business, and this really isn't for me." And I think that would be a little bit short-sighted. There's stuff here that, yes, if you do not have a business, let's say that you're working full time, in a corporate job, and looking to supplement your income. That's how I got started, 6 years ago. To today, where I do this full time now. But whether wherever you are in that progression, whether you're working full time and moonlighting on the side, whether you're just getting started on your own, whether you experience a job loss and trying to take a different career path, or maybe you've been in an entrepreneur for years, there's stuff in here that most entrepreneurs just do not do, especially people that jump into business. I know for the first 3+ years, half of the time that I've been, doing really focusing on entrepreneurship and making that a life type mission, I didn't do most of the stuff. It was only recently where I really, settled in and honed this in over the last few years. So with that, again, stop me anytime. We're here to have fun, enjoy, and let's make this interaction, or give this some interaction. So definitely ask questions, if you've got them. I don't see any questions right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get rolling here. So we're going to start here at begin small business startup and move right into number 1.1, defining your business. So the big thing here, right, is to make sure that you are comfortable with your with your business decision, right? And that's what we get into in the action cash map is really looking at how to identify your passions, your strengths, your weaknesses, and then leveraging that knowledge to say, okay, this is a business area that I want to be in, or I do not want to be in, right? So what is your particular niche? So I'll give you one little story for me, and this, I'll try to keep this short, but in 2005, I was in the middle of working in the automotive industry as a executive at that point, and also working on my PhD in systems engineering. I started moonlighting on the side, doing primarily Google pay-per-click advertising. Had many solid months of in the $20,000-$25,000 a month revenue range, until Google kind of pulled the plug. It was kind of the end of the free-for-all for pay-per-click advertising. Still an effective way to advertise, but not the free-for-all that it used to be. And I was out there searching and seeking for solutions to show me as an entrepreneur, what is it that I need to do to build a business. And it became very clear and evident to me that there wasn't anywhere where I could go get a step-by-step, this map, somebody to tell me, here's what you need to do. And hence, that was back in 2005, the birth of cash maps, right? So I took my area of expertise, which is business, systems, my area of passion, which is helping other entrepreneurs and business owners, coaching, consulting people, in an area that could be monetized. And I brought those three things together. So if you've ever read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, he he identifies and he rolls out this concept called the hedgehog concept, and that is these three, can't do it with two hands here, these three intersecting circles where you got what are you passionate about, what can you be the best in the world at, right? And then the third one down here is what can be monetized. And so, that little thing right in the middle is to understand what that is. That's ideally where where you want to play. Because when you do that, think of this from a perspective of busyness, right? If you've checked out my Effortless Productivity web TV show at all over at busyness.com, you've heard some of this, or if you haven't, you will in the next few episodes. About being on the right trajectory, being efficient at your actions, and having enjoyment or having fun while you do it, right? And when you're working in an area of passion, that's where things become fun. It's not a job any longer. It is something that is your life passion, something that you love to do, and something that you would do anyways if you didn't get paid for it. That's the number one ideal spot to be in. Now, granted, not everyone operates in that area. That's the ideal situation. Many folks, you have to remember, maybe they have multi-million-dollar businesses, and it has nothing to do with their area of passion. In fact, they may hate their job, and in some cases, some people walk away from that. Other cases, it is what it is. It's paying the bills. It's generating, your living, and more so. And you that's what you have to do, and either decide to live with that or seek out another area, opening another business, that gets you into that, what you can be passionate about, what you can be the best in the world at, and what you can monetize, right? So that's really what we get into here in the, analyzing these resources, or I'm sorry, defining your business. So you're going in and you're looking at your resources. You're looking at what you can be the best in the world at, what skills you have, and you're looking at what it may be failures in your life. And I mentioned this, I think, in one of the previous Busyness Live webinars. Many times the failures in our life are the areas in which we can learn and grow from those failures, take those life experiences, and go out and help other people around this great earth in that particular area. So just a couple other things here that you want to think about. Is we also get into this particular action cash map about naming your business. Getting a little bit, once you understand where you want to go, there's lots of things from a brand perspective, many considerations such as, do you brand your name? Do you brand the business? What's a good name? How does it play in with a URL? All that good stuff. So lots of things that can be answered there. Much more in depth to talk about here in this short little overview. So I'm going to move on. But if you've got some questions, make sure you keep them on tap and write them down. So that was 1.1, define your business. Now the next one's, I really wanted to say that because give that longer explanation there, because that really sets the framework for the entire discussion for the rest of the evening. And I think hopefully it already stirred some emotions, or those getting the neurons firing in your brain as far as where you're at in your entrepreneurial path. Are you at a position where you're brand new, looking for something? If so, then what I just talked about can really start to get you in the right area of where maybe a business would make sense for you. And if you're already in business, are you working in your passion? You're working in your in your strengths. So, so with that, once you kind of hone in on the niche, right? Then another area, the next area that you want to focus on is defining your target market, right? Because this is one of the areas in which entrepreneurs, quite frankly, fall down. There's a big mistake here in that people often feel that the bigger the market, the better, right? So, for instance, let me give you an example. All of my busyness platform right now, and effortless productivity, I'll use a real life example, and I think I can drive this home to you. We've got software coming out. I've got the Effortless Productivity web TV show. I got software coming out. I have a book that's coming out, that's in writing right now, and more stuff. But the question is, on all this concept, busyness is a niche that applies to the general public. I think that you would admit that, whether not only you in business, you in your own life, your spouse, people, friends that you come into contact with, just society at large are busy people, right? That's the way we are. And so, one of my challenges in that particular platform is to say, all right, how does all this fit together? What is the actual target market that I'm after? Is it the general target market, or is it honed down on just general business? I'm only going to look at people in business, whether it's entrepreneurship, small business, um, people that work in the corporate world, managers versus corporate workers, blue collar versus white collar, right? Um, maybe even less than that. Maybe it's only entrepreneurs and small business owners I'm focusing on, or maybe it's only entrepreneurs. Um, just there's lots of different things. Maybe your niche is in the nursing industry, but maybe you're not after all nurses. Maybe you're only after male nurses, whatever that product or service that you provide, is for that. In fact, there was a gal that I met at one of the last events I spoke at, and I forget her name right now, but her niche was nursing, but helping nursing students, so connecting people with schools to go to become a nurse, after hours, part time, that sort of thing. Now that's a really, really, really like focused and targeted niche. And what you'll find is the better that you're able to hone things in and bring them down to a real definable niche. That's is what is going to allow you to develop real close-knit relationships with folks, in deep relationships with folks, to become their trusted advisor. And so defining your target market, understanding, to do the research, to document that research, to begin gathering that target market data, and really building, right, the avatar. So replace my head right now with an avatar. What does that avatar look like to you, to your business? Is that person, male, female, long hair, short hair, how old? 25, 35, 45, 75. What's their income? Where do they work? What do they like to do? What magazines do they like to read? All of those types of things. The better that you can define your target market, the better that you're going to be able to market to them, the more revenue that you're going to be able to create. So that's what we get into this Action Cash Map 1.2. Define your target market. Right here is doing just that. And so really, if there's the one tip that you can take away from this tonight, is just think about the avatar, right? Think about the avatar, meaning what's the avatar for your target market, and you want to define that. One little tip is build that avatar on a piece of construction paper, whatever. Put it on your wall next to your desk or in your office, so that you can keep adding to it, keep defining it, and so that you can just really ingrain that in your mind. This is the people that we're after. So all right, so that's 1.2, defining your target market. Let's move on then to 1.3, creating a business plan. Now, this is definitely one of the areas, that, oh boy, takes a ton more of the, diving into than just a few minutes here on this particular webinar. But it's also one of the absolute most critical steps, right? So we've actually been in, I personally have experience of being in a business that was, going down one particular road, but we never created a business plan for it. And because of that, at a point it pulled the rug out from under us, because we weren't able to fully define exactly, where we were, where we were going, and how we were differentiating from our competitors and such. So, part of the step before defining your target market is, identifying the competitive space as well. So, this business plan, the target market, right, is one of the biggest things for, completing the business plan. So, that's one of the absolute big things is knowing what your target market is. So when you do that step before, that's why they're in order like this. That target market information carries forward into step 1.3, creating the business plan. Now, one little tip here: Small Business Association, SBA.gov. You can. That's definitely one that you can check out. You can get tons of information here as far as as far as this, and also I'll give you another one. Now, this isn't free. This is I'm trying to think. It's docstock.com. You can get a whole bunch of template documents there at docstock.com, template business plans and that sort of thing. Definitely start with a template here. I mean, don't start with a white sheet of paper in front of you. You'll freak out or flip out, or you won't put anything out, right? Because you won't even know where to get started. Definitely start from a template, and that's what we get into in 1.3 here is creating that business plan. How you're going to fund your business, what your products and services are, what the target market is, what the price points are, what the competitive space is. Are there any regulatory requirements? Your funding. How you going to fund the business? All that good stuff. And so a couple of good resources there for you. Again, DocStock is I actually one of the episodes coming up here on the Effortless Productivity Show has there's a productivity sucks segment in there where we look at websites, software applications, and tool sets to help your productivity to not suck. And one of those is DocStock. So that does require it's like a $9.99 a month membership or something like that. But awesome templates there. Go there and search. So that would be great. I don't know, Joe. I think that as far as is it a good resource for price points? Here's the deal. Here's the deal with price points. There is price points are so niche specific. So it's very, you really aren't going to get pricing from either of those areas for just for your particular niche. The pricing is going to come from your competitive space. So that's really where it's going to come from. First, what's going on with your competitors, and then two, what's your business strategy to differentiate and compete with that competition. That's where your pricing strategy is going to come from. And a real key on that, lower price point is not always better, right? So because lower price point is often in your customer space perceived of as cheaper, cheaper in a bad way. Cheaper meaning less valuable, less information, not as high quality, all that sort of thing. Now that's on one side. The other side is in some niches, less price is what gets it. But the thing about it is that price is the easiest thing to compete on, and it's the hardest thing to compete on. Okay, and what I mean by that is it's the easiest thing because sure, you can take whatever product or service and drop the price. I can do that today, but it's the most difficult to compete on because so can your competitors. And if you set your whole business strategy up on price competition and you're lower than everyone else, and one of those competitors or somebody else just says, well, excuse my French, but screw that person or that organization, we're just going to lower our prices. And if their value of their product or service is as good or better, or they have better credibility or something like that, you're out of business tomorrow. So you really need to figure out a different way to compete. That's my personal opinion. But again, there are areas where price works. So, all right. So moving on from 1.3, we're going to go over to 1.4 and take a look here at financing your business. And this is another area in which many people just overlook or don't really understand that there's opportunities for funding out there. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to obtain funding. But the first question that really has to be asked here on financing your business is, do you need funding? That's really the first question, because obviously, right, anytime that you're going to go out and get funds from a third party to fund your endeavors, you are in effect going to give up a percentage of your business. So again, that's not always bad. That oftentimes, if you didn't have funding, some businesses, if they didn't have funding, they would never ever got off the ground. So that $1 million or $1 billion business that was created would have just never came to fruition, right? But there's other cases in which bootstrapping's fine. You can just bootstrap this. Look for free ways to advertise and to market. Look for ways to just fund it yourself. Maybe you're working full time at the time, and you just contribute to that business through from your own pocket just to keep it going and keep it moving. So the first question is, do you need financing? If you don't, then you pretty much you move off of 1.4 into the next one. But if you do, then you get into looking at understanding, all right, what's your one-time expenses? What investments do you have that are one-time? Licensing, permits. Is there equipment that you need? Are there raw materials, equipment, and other equipment that you need to buy? But in addition to that, what are your fixed expenses, right? So is there rent on an office space? What your salaries, your utilities, insurance, transportation costs, and the like. So you get into the fixed, and then also your variable expenses associated with your product or service. And what are your startup costs, right? What are your startup costs? And so there's some things there. Again, DocStock has some great things for budgeting your first few months and that sort of thing. But you really need to know what your expenses and startup costs are before you can go to somebody. And you also need your business plan, right? You're not going to be able to get funded anywhere if you don't have, trust me, you will not get funded if you don't have a business plan and you can't answer clearly what your expenses are and how they're going to be applied if you're to have the money, right? So it doesn't matter whether you go, write a funding request to, to go venture capitalists, whether you go to a government, organization, to, small business association, that sort of thing, looking for funds. You can get lots of different loans from lots of different areas in the government. Starting with the SBA, the Small Business Association, is one great place to look. But there's a whole bunch of different places to go on. Micro loans are going to your bank, right? You can get a business loan at your bank. Yeah, I'm not sure I go that route. Micro loans. I don't have a resource off the tip of my tongue here to type in, but if you just go to Google and type in, micro loans for entrepreneurs, stuff like that, you'll find, lots of stuff, lots of folks, networks, organizations that have come together to do micro loans, meaning mini loans, smaller amount loans to help, the entrepreneur and small business type, startup thing. So that's another way. Friends and family. Now, there's lots of negatives of working with family and that sort of thing, but maybe business colleagues, acquaintances, going out and getting somebody, just partnering with somebody who has the actual resources that can help you as you're the main cog behind the business, so to speak. Lots of different things there, but you must have that business plan and your and your expenses identified before you're going to have any chance in heck at getting funding. So 1.4, lots more to be said on that, but again, in the interest of time here, I'm going to keep moving on. 1.5. Excuse me, 1.5, market your business. And in this action cash map, we get into things as far as, marketing and, building your brand, determining your marketing requirements. And a lot of that's going to be dependent upon how much, your marketing funds that you have available, right? And so how much money do you have? That's going to go a long way in determining, okay, are you going to invest in a $5,000 website? Are you going to put $50,000 into it? Are you going to go out and spend $25,000 on a custom-made Flash game application that goes viral? Or you know what? You got $100 a month. Okay, what are you going to do with $100 a month? How are you going to get a website set up? How are you going to get establish your business cards, in logo, corporate identity? You're going to do any newspaper advertising, online advertising? What about any signage you need? What other marketing opportunities are there? What about, even offline mailings, doing drop mailings, postcard mailings, stuff like that? What about just dropping flyers locally? I mean, there's so many things here, that go into this conversation about marketing your business, but, you must understand what funds do you have available, and then that helps to guide you into the particular area. So but just kind of a word here. This is just my personal opinion. you may or may not have a product or service at this point. In fact, some do, some don't. Many businesses are founded because they have a great product or great service, and then they put the business around it. Other ones are, you have no idea what you're going to do, and you're just finding something in your area of passion and strength, and that could be, that can be monetized. And boom, now you're putting together your marketing collateral. You're developing your brand, doing your brand development, and you're going to be, you have some ideas of products and services, but you haven't created them yet, and that's okay. So either way, from that, can be done. So 1.6, moving on here, gets into developing networks, right, and building relationships. And I'm going to kind of couple that with 1.6 and 1.7, because really, in today's day and age, offline and online, should work hand in hand. It's developing relationships. So, for instance, Twitter, for instance, right? Twitter is an excellent platform for opening up doors for people. So it's one of those things that, for generating traffic and sales, not so good. But it can be, but just in general principle, it's not so good. But as far as opening up doors to key influential people in your particular niche, absolutely, one of the best tools there. So, even if you want to build relationships offline, there comes Twitter, an opportunity that you don't know Joe Schmo, boom, hop in there and, open up a door with Joe Schmo through Twitter so that you can, then interface with them offline as well. And so those are, not you, Joe Kaizen Training Academy, but no, that's another Joe, the other Joe Schmo. But anyway, so let's talk offline for a minute. Some things here, some things that are often overlooked. Joining community organizations, local community organizations. Leverage the power of local. Really, really do. Local chamber of commerces. Trade shows and expos and that sort of thing. Other professional organizations. If you're in, for me, I'm a member of the INCOSE, the International Council on Systems Engineering. Professional engineering types, societies. If you're, in the engineering stuff, with Joe Kaizen Training Academy, the ASQ, the Society of Quality Engineers, SQEs, those types of things. Become a member of those particular professional organizations, right? Those are absolutely, great ways to network with people. And 1.7. Twitter, Facebook, the old MySpace, LinkedIn, those are the big three, right? It's Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I hesitate to get into really much depth here on this because there's just so much behind that. But I think you get the point. Right? And the other key is building an email list to be able to communicate with folks and develop relationships with folks. And we're going to get into that a few weeks down the road here. As we get into one of our next steps on our entrepreneur cash map about list building, and I'm really excited about that one. But the important thing here, I guess, just in general for 1.6 and 1.7, is the fact that please do not underestimate the power of networking. Okay, my business and entrepreneurial state really started taking off. 2007-ish, a couple years after I really conceptualized things and started moving, when I first attended a live event, a live seminar, and from there, boom, that's where you're able to interact with people, connect with people, and it's more so about who than what you know, and of course, the more that you know on the what side, and you combine that with who you know. Okay, great. You've got a great marriage there. But just I want to say networking and relationships is everything. All right. So 1.6, 1.7, definitely do not want to discount those at all. All right. So let me see if I can get my little box off of here. Perfect. And we'll move down here to 1.8. And 1.8, let me get back to the, there we go. 1.8 is, provide a product or service. At the end of the day, you absolutely must provide a product or service. You must provide a product or service that provides value and addresses a point of pain or need for your target market. It's as simple as that. You know, it's really not simple. It's somewhat complicated as far as, okay, what is the actual product or service? I know you sitting in your chair there. If you don't have a product or service, you're like, yeah, Brad, whatever. It's not simple. I get that. I understand that. Conceptually, it's simple. Providing a product or service of value that addresses a pain point or a point of need for your target market. That's simple. Actual execution is a little bit more difficult. But this is where you really, 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 really want to get into. In this particular package, doesn't get into product development, but what we do talk about is making sure that whatever product or service that you have a customer base to sell to, right? So you've got to be generating leads, both offline and online. You've got to understand what that target market is and their needs, and then be able to offer that product or service to them, through a platform, whether it's online or offline. If it's online, boy, you really are gonna need to know how you're going to set up a website, how you're going to take payment processing or conduct payment processing, where the funds going to flow, what are those payment systems, what is your your checkout system, how are you going to follow with people, how are you going to get them onto an email list, and be able to follow up with them, that sort of thing. If it's a recurring billing type thing, how are you going to bill every month? If you're doing services, how are you going to invoice? What are you going to do? Just an Excel invoice document you go grab from DocStock, or are you going to, have a system like QuickBooks or on QuickBooks Online or something, something like that. So lots of different questions there, as far as the ancillary type things around providing a product or service, right? Again, this isn't about actually building a product or service. This is about getting in and making sure that you have the structure and you're asking yourself the right questions, and you're ready to provide that product or service to your customer base. And finally, 1.9, maintain your client base. And this is where sorry, let me move this thing over. As the annotation states that we've got written right here, the most important factor in success of any small business is the cultivation of relationships with satisfied clients. Bingo. Absolutely spot on. You absolutely must be able to, develop relationships with prospects, convert them into paying clients or customers, and then provide them reliable value, consistent and reliable value to turn them into repeat customers. And that's what we talk about here in 1.9, maintaining a client base and getting into that, making sure that you understand the steps that are necessary to do that. A lot of that in today's day and age is done via email. That's one of the biggest ways. But if you only are using email, you're missing a ton, because the percentage of email opens are, if you're getting 20% of emails to be opened, you're doing pretty darn well. Couple that with the fact that people don't really read email, or they skim it, or it goes into spam, so they don't even see it. They're not even given the 20% don't even have a chance to open it. You've got to find other ways to maintain that client base through appreciation marketing, through offline touches, through events. That sort of thing. I mean, let's be real transparent. Let's look at this. Why do we do these events? Well, number one, because we want to provide value back to each one of you, to develop relationships, so that you know me, so that I get to know you, so that you get to know our products and how they can help you. That's really what this is about. It's about developing a relationship with you, and let's just cut to the chase. That's being as transparent can be, right? And so that at the end of the day, you trust and value the information that I'm providing. That's part of what's underneath 1.9, maintaining a client base. And so moving on there, that is where we get to the end here. And I know I've run a little bit longer than what I wanted to talk to you tonight. Before I open up the floor, but here we go. There's a small business. Small business has been created. So I wanted to remind you here that there is, and Ron, if if you have that link by chance, there is a special offer, okay, tonight. And again, being transparent here for this, there we go right there. There's the link, and I'm going to back out of here and open back up the overview document, okay. And that overview document, sorry, bear with me 1 second here as I get this document to open up. And this is the overview document that I started this evening with, okay. And as this comes up here, remember, what we just covered is we covered these guys, right? I'll blow this up for you. Make that even a little bigger here. There we go. This is our small business startup package. We just covered this guy right here, the strategy cash map. That's what we just covered. So you'll see that arrow on there right now, okay? Now, all of the action cash maps, you see, you know, the 9 of them here, all the detailed cash maps right here are listed right here, right? They're right here. These are all the action cash maps that we talked about. All of these right there normally sell for $197. I'm going to go ahead and put a thing on here. They usually sell for $197. Tonight, actually right now I think they're on our site for $77. And tonight, up till midnight Eastern or so, about midnight, depending on what time I come back in here, only $37. Okay, so $37 tonight gets you the entire package of the action cash maps. So I'm going to go ahead and do some funky business here. I'm going to cross that $197 off, cross the $77 off, and it's $37. But the cool thing is, in addition to that, right, you're also going to get plus another free cash map package of your choosing. All right, so there we go. That's what, let me get that somewhere where you can read it right there. And I'm going to put my lines back over this. You can see the regular price is $197. It's not $77, which is what it's been. Sorry, but that whole set of action cash maps that you're seeing over here for $37. And then you're also going to pick any other package of our 59 or 60 packages, whatever's in there now. You're going to pick another package for free, and you're going to do that by emailing us at sales@cashmap.com or support@cashmap.com. Pick any one of them, okay? And then that way you're going to get 2 full packages for $37. That's it. That's all. That's the offer tonight. Would love to help you, achieve your goals on this. So I'm going to jump off of that, and I just hope you consider taking advantage of that. But what I want to do now is open up the floor for questions and answers. This is one of the most important aspects of the night here. So I'll leave that up there for a few minutes. And but I want to open up the floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the Q&A portion here. It's going to take just a minute for that Q&A to come up. Okay, and I want to go ahead and open up the floor. If you have any questions when that Q&A comes up, Dave, Ron, let me know if you're seeing that, and that way we can pull that down. And or I'm sorry, if you see it there, then you can actually grab it and enter in your question there. Because again, at the second half of this Busyness Live, and I know we don't have a full second half, but what I want to make sure is that we can answer any and all of your questions that you may have. So, all right, good. All right, so here's a question. All right, so the question is networking, and the question is, do you have to do it personally for your brand, or can you have one of your key people do it as well as you can? All right, great question. So here's the answer on that. So again, the question is about networking, and it is, do you have to do it yourself, or can you have somebody do it for your brand, do it as well. The answer really is twofold in my right, and that is that like anything else in your business, you can systematize. You can systematize just about everything. Now, not everything in every business. There's some businesses that there's some real key players or key roles in which maybe one of the founders of the company just absolutely has to be involved in, right? But just about everything else, the right person with the right systems can be trained to perform pretty darn well. Maybe not 100% exactly was another person, but pretty darn close. Now, networking is interesting because depending on how it's done, there's two levels here, right? There's personal networking, right? So any company that's founded on an individual, that individual plays a very important role for it plays a very, very important role to be able to develop networks of people based on his or her personal relationships, right? But from a brand perspective, especially if you get into networking with people online and that sort of thing, there's people that from a brand perspective that can do it very, very well, probably even more effective than what you can, or in conjunction with you can, to add on to what you're doing and take a piece of it and run with it. So what I mean by that is like maybe you're doing some level of networking. Offline you're doing a good level. Online you're doing your own social media profiles. You're engaging with people through events like this and other things. But you can definitely train somebody on your team to understand your brand, to become very intimate with your brand, to know what your business strategies are, and to take those forward, to other folks. So hopefully that answers your question. And if not, ping me back for sure on that, and we'll get it on. So I see one more being typed in here. Give me 1 second. There's one more piece of content that I want to upload here, and then I'm going to grab that other. I'm going to grab that other question that I just saw coming in here. So just 1 second. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. And the next question that is coming in Business Live is, okay, so what is the difference between this package and the business plan writing package that I see in your cash map dashboard? All right, so great question here. So here's the difference. If you were to go to the cash map dashboard, all right, and I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to risk messing up the technology here. I'm going to have to get to the point where I can do that so I can efficiently move you over to a web view. But if you log into your cash map account, or your cash map account on cashmap.com, you'll be taken to the cash map dashboard, and on there you'll see small little thumbnails and small little descriptions for our almost 60 packages. And of those 60 packages, there's 2 of them, and the reference here is between small business startup and the business plan writing. If you remember back on the strategy cash map, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull that back up real quick to answer this question. Back on the strategy cash map, right here, step 1.3 is create a business plan. Okay, so it's this step right here, is create a business plan. Now, with that, as we talked about, we talked about one level of what it takes to create the business plan. Our business plan writing cash map actually goes into the nitty-gritty details. So it would actually be kind of like a supplement to this step right here. It would take this particular step and dive into detail. Right? That's what our small business, the business plan writing cash map does. Okay. Oops, sorry. I think I just lost the Q&A pod there. Got it there. Yep. So the business plan writing package dives into the details there of 1.3. So yep. And there's lots of different formats there, that different financial institutions look for and that sort of thing. We get into that to really demystify the writing of the business plan and such. So, all right, so that takes care of that one. What other questions do you have? What other questions do you have? In the meantime, be sure to take a peek tomorrow at busyness.com. In busyness.com, we have the episode 4, I think, of the Effortless Productivity Show. And hey, lots of good ways in the Effortless Productivity Show to lots of good ways to earn cash maps for free. So, for instance, oh, sorry, thanks for pointing that out. Ah, darn, I don't know why that. Okay, I just brought up the Q&A box again. So let me know if something that comes back there. But here's what I wanted to say was just kind of a reminder. For instance, our Entrepreneur Cash Map package, right, sells for $497. Okay, Entrepreneur Cash. Here's the Entrepreneur Cash Map page. That sells for $497, right, for 13 Cash Map packages. You can get that for free by visiting busyness.com. Ron, what's the link for the Ask Dr. Brad page? Because right here, you guys, for sure, you're asking me questions right now. Go in there. This show is only 4 weeks old, right? I'm not getting a ton of questions. I'm getting a few a week right now. You guys have a really, 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 did I say really good chance at winning the Entrepreneur Cash Map package for free. Because if you ask a question and I answer it on air of the Effortless Productivity Show, as a thank you for asking that question that I used on the show, you get the entire Entrepreneur Cash Map package for free. Okay? So, absolutely want your questions over there at Ask Dr. Brad. But anytime you can go over there. But don't hold back now. That doesn't mean hold back. Don't get shy on me now and start holding back questions just to go put them over there. That's not why I brought that up. I'm just giving you another resource there and something to win. Yeah, that salsa recipe. Yummy. All right, another question here. So if you're looking to launch a company, but can't launch it at its full magnitude, how do you determine where to start the launch? Okay, great question. So here we go. Let me read that again so you know. If you're looking to launch a company, but can't launch it at its full magnitude, how do you determine where to start the launch? Well, I'm not sure exactly what you're getting at with that question, but here's how I interpret and how I would answer it. And that is that I would start the launch in an area that it does two things. Three things. Number one, that you understand what your big vision is, that you understand what the end goal is, at least at this point of your mindset, what you think the end state is. And most of the time most people think it will think too small. But whatever that end state is, that's number one. Then number two is, what can you do, short of its full magnitude, or given the resources and the time and the money that you have, to number one, build the brand in a direction that is going to support that overall end game, and number two, that it can be self-sufficient so that you can fund your development along the way. That's exactly how I would look at it. Understanding what the big pieces are. Don't listen with effortless productivity. There's this concept of zoom thinking, right? Zoom thinking is the mind being able to go up and down, right? Being able to think at a real granular level, and then the 30,000 foot level. It's also the ability to think left and right, to be able to zoom from your left brain and right brain, right, back and forth from logical, process oriented to emotional, and feelings. But anyways, how that relates here is, in thinking about that company to its fullest extent, right, its full magnitude, you really need to think big first. You need to think at the 30,000 foot view, then dive into the granular details and saying, okay, I'm going to bite off this piece, this sliver right here. Because if I do that, I know it's going to build the brand in a direction, in the right trajectory, right, towards the end goal. And I'm also going to do it in this way because I can monetize it. I can monetize it now, even if it's small monetization, to build on. So that's the 2 things that I would say on as that particular question. Something else I was just going to do sidetrack. Hey, Joe, on the salsa thing there, and I can't remember the name of the company. There is a company that started up recently that's just kicking butt. It was an entrepreneurial type company. Started up, that's all they do. And actually, you know what their niche is? It's hot salsas. So it's not just any salsa, it's hot salsas. And they've got a full freaking business built on that particular industry. So, something to think about. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'll answer one more question. Thanks, Corbin. Yep, absolutely. Thanks for participating. And it looks like that's, if you have any more questions here, I'll give you about 30 more seconds to type it in here. I'll answer one more if there is in the next 30 seconds. If not, I want to first off, I want to thank you. Some people are kicking off here. Thank you for participating. Please, please, please come back next Wednesday, same time, same place. Also, invite your friends. Don't come back empty-handed. Grab somebody by the hand that can use this advice, this free advice that maybe needs they're stuck in their business. Maybe somebody that you just think would enjoy this. Bring them back next week. Please, please, please do that. Help us get the word out on this. And don't forget the special price here on our small business startup cash map package. Normally sells for $197. As of this afternoon, it was there for $77. Tonight, $37, and and you're also then going to get an entirely another free action cash map package of your choice. Just go ahead and and email us. And absolutely, find us on Facebook. Make sure you like us on Facebook at Cashmap, facebook.com/Cashmap, and ping me. Anything you need from me, reach out to me. You can find me and plastered all over any of the social media outlets. Just search for Brad Semp, and you'll find me there. So with that, absolutely, there you go. That's fine too. Facebook.cashmap.com. Thank you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you next week, where we're gonna carry on. And I am sorry, I'm totally dropped the ball. I don't remember what the topic is. Their next step of our entrepreneur cash map. I'm not looking at it here. Ron or Dave, if you guys have it right there, definitely let me know. But anyways, we will be back next Wednesday. So thanks, guys. Take care. And good night.